Today, a humanitarian tragedy is taking place behind barbed wire and rows of riot cops in the industrial Netherlands of Newark, writes Inquirer columnist Will Bunch, where immigrants snatched by masked agents of American secret police are held in a private lockup called the Delaney Hall in squalid conditions, fed rancid food, denied proper medical care, and fearing for their lives. What are good people doing right now? As news of a detainee hunger strike inside Delaney Hall reached the outside world, a few hundred protesters have made their way toward the gates of the facility run by the for-profit GEO Group to voice support for the strikers, demand humane treatment, and for some of them, put their bodies on the line to commit acts of civil disobedience against a human rights catastrophe on American soil. What is New Jersey's newish governor, Mickey Sherrill, doing right now? For 2 nights now, a battalion of Sherrill's New Jersey State Police, who the first-term governor has claimed would lower the temperature in New York, has turned up the heat to 11 by firing rubber bullets, tear gas canisters, and flashbang grenades while violently pushing back the demonstrators, both with mounted officers on horseback and with riot shields and batons. Thankfully, no one died in the New York protest yet, writes Bunch. But human rights protesters and free speech advocates are stunned that militarized cops under the command of a Democratic governor who claims to be fighting for U.S. immigration and customs enforcement, humanitarian abuses, are using such aggressive tactics against citizens fighting the cause she claims to support. This is what Jerry Nadler said when he visited. They are given small portions of food, very often contain maggots, and the only medication they receive is Tylenol. One woman had a lump in her breast, but was still waiting on a mammogram more than a month into her detention. Another detainee was suffering from colon cancer, but wasn't receiving any treatment. I read of a story where one of the men was telling his family that he had to chew the milk that he was given. You know, I can sit up here and talk about what an utter disgrace that Mickey Sherrill is and Cory Booker. Every single Democrat, if they actually gave a shit about America, they would be there right now. Every single senator, every single fucking congressman. If the Democratic Party was an opposition party, that's where they would be, not giving bullshit speeches on the campaign trail. Both parties are complicit. But it's the lack of humanity in this country. You know, January 6th, it should have been a red line. It should have been. And it wasn't. In 2024, I want you to think about this because I want to give you context. 77 million people went to the voting booth and looked at 2 choices. You had a rapist, a man who defends child molesters, a 34-count felon who cheats on his wife, who refused to rent to black people, asked for the execution of 5 black men, who had dinner with white supremacists in his house, who questioned the birth of Barack Obama, the first black president, who caused an insurrection. 4 fucking officers committed suicide from the PTSD. Michael Fanone almost fucking died from being tased in the neck. He went into 15-year-old girls' locker rooms and watched them naked and bragged about it on Howard Stern. And 77 million people said, I don't know, it's that or the most qualified candidate because she's a fucking black woman. 77 million of you said, I don't give a shit about morality or decency. He promised me money. And for the people right now that didn't vote for this, y'all are complicit too. Evil succeeds when good people do nothing. Every day in Nazi Germany, during the Holocaust, Neighbor after neighbor after neighbor after neighbor was snatched. And I've seen the plaques on the grounds of every Jewish person that was kidnapped and murdered. And they all stood by, went to work, went to their farms, delivered packages, opened a grocery store, and acted like everything was okay. And at the end, it was about 7 million. And this country has normalized immorality. That's why this is not a great country. This week, while this is happening, while we have a rapist as the president of the United States of America, thousands of people are going to flood the New York Knicks, pay anywhere from $3,000 to $100,000 to watch a fucking basketball game while people are in concentration camps. Tens of thousands are going to pay $30, $100 to go see a baseball game. Thousands are going to watch hockey. Thousands are going to watch soccer. Going to go to movies, watch Netflix, go work out. While this is happening in the United States of America. This America it deserves to burn to the ground. Even on protesting, every 4 months, Americans as a whole, 8 million out of 340 million, that's it on a Saturday? What bullshit reason did you come up with, huh? What bullshit reason did you come up with to help yourself sleep at night? I want to know. Oh, you need money? Oh, you didn't want to miss a dance recital or a football game? I can't stand for them because that's not them. What if your child was there? What if your family member was there? Yeah, you would act differently. That's what's wrong with America, that we're selfish. That we don't give a shit unless something affects us. When I went to Europe, you know what? Those are great fucking countries. They don't have gun violence. They have universal health care. They don't have the homeless problem that we do. They have it, not to the extent. They don't have mass shootings. They don't do active fucking shooter drills. Their college is paid for. They have a fucking great country, but not us. Nope. Even on Sundays and Mondays, they will close museums. Why? To spend time with their family. Holy shit, that's a novel idea. America has sold the lie of American exceptionalism, and it's a fucking lie. It is not great. It has money, but 3 people own half of it. And when people like Jackson Dart, that insecure, mediocre white man with a micro penis, goes up there and can't understand why people are upset, I'll tell you why, Jackson Dart. Because you shook the hand of a fucking rapist. That's why, Jackson. If Donald Trump raped your mom, would you be shaking his hand? Not a chance in hell. But he raped somebody else's mom, so it's okay. And that's the problem. There's too many Jackson Darts with red hats in this country that need to be an alpha male, because people like Jackson Dart have been told, you're a winner, Jackson. You can throw a football. Yay. And everyone's kissed his ass since he was a little boy. Oh, he's a winner. He won football games. Oh, a championship. And you think because you have a contract and you make money, that means you're something. You're not. You're a fucking loser, Jackson. I don't care if you have $1 trillion in your bank account. You're still a shitty human being. But the Jackson Darts and the Cory Bookers and the John Fettermans and the Mitch McConnells and the Mike Johnsons, every day you normalize this, you're complicit. Every day the Democrats aren't out there, you're complicit. Every day the Republicans aren't out there, you're complicit. And this bullshit argument of, oh, well, we just want people, oh, you have all these right-wingers up there saying, oh, we just want people to peacefully protest. Yeah, law and order. You voted for a fucking convicted felon and a rapist. Remember January 6th? Yeah, so shut the fuck up. And Democrats, where are you pushing back? Where? I want to know. You're not. That's the problem. You allow this messaging to go unchecked because you don't want to fight. You just want to stay in power. Vote for me in the midterms. The economy's in the shitter. Gas is $10, but vote for me in 6 months while people are fucking eating maggots in their food. Nothing to see here. Mickey Sherrill is no different than a Republican. She's the same thing. She is defending the ICE agents, not the people suffering in there. America deserves to fall. It does. Because we're going to go to our job today, go to lunch today, see a movie today, while this shit is happening. Just like Nazi Germany. We deserve what's coming to us. Because our apathy as a society is disgusting. Out of everything that bothers me when I make videos is I don't understand why the fuck y'all don't care. Why aren't you angry? It's because it hasn't affected you. That's why. That's why I do this, because it doesn't affect me, but I give a shit. I believe that you're supposed to love thy neighbor. These people are fucking human beings. They're my neighbors. You don't think that I've lost friends and family from doing this? Of course I have. You don't think I've lost business from this? Of course I have. But the difference between you and I, the people that aren't protesting specifically, is that I'm fucking willing to be uncomfortable. And white people are going to do the same thing they've done since 1619. While black people were in fucking trees by ropes. They're going to walk around like this and act like everything's okay. This is caused by white people, by their privilege. Sitting around doing fucking nothing. Going to work, going to baseball, watching football, going to a recital, watching Netflix, going for a walk, going to the gym. Ho-hum. It sucks. Yeah, it sucks that 50 plus people have died in ICE detention, but hey, shit happens. There's nothing I can do. Hey, what time does that movie start? America deserves to fall. It does. Because you don't want to be uncomfortable. You don't want to sacrifice the thing that America really values, which is a fucking dollar. This. Hold on. So that's the question, America. How much of this is enough? To ignore people in concentration camps? I want to know. How many of this is enough? 40, 60, 80, 10,000, 20,000? How much in your paycheck is enough? Will you protest if you get enough? How much is it? What is your soul fucking worth? Because that's what it comes down to. You're not better than Republicans. Not better than fucking MAGA. You just do it with a different letter next to your name. Because you don't give a shit. And if you did, you would be out there fucking protesting this shit. You would go on a general strike. But you won't. Because only 5,000 people have signed it. And you're going to have to learn the hard way. You're going to have to suffer the effects of your silence. Good luck, America. We had a good run.